Welcome back, guys. I'm looking to reach 1,000 subs. Support me by clicking the subscribe button.
You see the number and you see the amount that the player is receiving, and I feel like the show is on us. I feel like without us, there wouldn't be...
While Sabalenka demanded more money in a press room, Eala sold out an entire stadium, and nobody saw the irony coming. Picture the scene. It is May 6th, 2026. The Foro Italico in Rome, Italy, one of the most breathtaking sporting venues on the face of the earth, a complex of clay courts surrounded by marble statues of athletes that have stood since the 1930s, a place where tennis history has been made for nearly a century. The Italian Open is in full swing. The tournament's promotional machine is humming at full capacity. And on the very same afternoon, two completely opposite stories are unfolding simultaneously inside the same grounds. Stories so different, so perfectly contrasted, so loaded with accidental irony that you genuinely could not have scripted them better if you tried. On one side of the Foro Italico, inside a tournament press room, Arena Sabalenka, world number one, four-time Grand Slam champion, the undisputed queen of the WTA Tour for the better part of 3 seasons, is sitting in front of a full press corps on her 28th birthday, and she is dropping truth bombs. She is telling the world that Grand Slam tournaments are not paying players enough, that the show the players put on is not being compensated fairly, that the entertainment tennis provides comes from the players, and without the players, none of this exists. She is floating the possibility of a boycott, not a polite suggestion, a boycott. She is saying, directly and clearly, that the women's game may have to withhold its services from the sport's most prestigious tournaments to get what it deserves. On the other side of those same grounds, a few hundred meters away, a completely different scene is playing out. The Stadio Nicola Pietrangeli, the smaller of the Foro Italico's main courts, a 3,720-seat marble ring by those iconic marble statues, one of the most photographed and beloved venues in all of professional tennis, is completely and utterly sold out. Not a single ticket left. Standing room gone. Every seat filled. And the person responsible for this sellout is not a Grand Slam champion. She is not seeded. She is not even in the top 40 of the world rankings. She is a 20-year-old girl from the Philippines named Eala, ranked 42nd in the world, about to play her first-round match against Magdalena Frech in what is just her second-ever appearance at the Italian Open. The Philippine flag is everywhere inside that stadium. Red, white, and blue. The colors of a country that has waited generations for a tennis player to call its own. Draped over railings, waved above heads, printed on shirts that fans had clearly planned and packed weeks in advance. Filipino supporters had traveled to Rome from Manila, from London, from Madrid, from every corner of the Filipino diaspora across Europe, willing to pay whatever the ticket market demanded to be inside those marble walls when Eala played. The chants of her name, Alex, 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 were echoing off those statues in a way those silent stone figures had never been designed to experience. Veteran ABS-CBN broadcaster Diane Castillo, one of the most respected Filipino sports journalists in the business, was physically inside that stadium and sent back a dispatch that needed only 4 words to say everything: Pinoy pride in Italy. And there it was. The most striking, jaw-dropping, perfectly accidental contrast that Rome's Italian Open has ever produced. The world number one arguing in a press room that the entertainment comes from the players, that the show requires them, that without them there is nothing, while simultaneously, a few hundred meters away, a 20-year-old unseeded player was generating the kind of organic, passionate, spine-tingling atmosphere that no marketing budget can manufacture and no promotional algorithm can replicate. The entertainment was already sold out. Nobody had to threaten anything to make it happen. This is the story of May 6, 2026, at the Foro Italico in Rome. And it is far more than a tennis story. It is a story about what creates value in sport, about who actually moves the needle, about the gap between demanding the room and owning it. And it has everything to do with why the tennis world is suddenly paying very close attention to a 20-year-old from Quezon City who was 9 days removed from the worst loss of her clay court season when she walked onto that sold-out court and made history. Let's start with the Sabalenka story, because it is genuine, it is important, and it deserved to be told honestly before we examine the irony in its timing. The prize money dispute between professional tennis players and the Grand Slam tournaments has been simmering for more than a year. Back in March 2025, a coalition of 20 top players from both the ATP and WTA tours signed and delivered a letter to the heads of all 4 Grand Slam tournaments: the Australian Open, Roland Garros, Wimbledon, and the US Open, requesting a higher share of tournament revenues, better healthcare provisions, improved pension arrangements, and greater player representation in decisions that affect the sport. The response from the Grand Slam organizations: according to the players, silence. No meaningful reply. No negotiation. Nothing. And then the numbers came out for Roland Garros 2026. French Open organizers announced a prize pool of €61.7 million for this year's tournament, a headline increase of roughly 10% over the previous year, which sounds generous until you look at what it actually represents as a percentage of the tournament's total revenue. Roland Garros generated €395 million in revenue in 2025, a 14% year-on-year increase. Booming, growing, thriving. And the players' share of that revenue? It declined from 15.5% in 2024 to a projected 14.9% in 2026.
Welcome back, guys. I'm looking to reach 1,000 subs. Support me by clicking the subscribe button.